Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of OverVoice Season 3. Today I'm joined by the amazing Abi Kumar. Abi, would you like to introduce yourself, my
Hey.
brother?
Hi, my name is Abi Kumar. I do stuff for Crunchyroll. I do voiceover work for Crunchyroll for the most part, and I do some stuff for like online auditions and whatnot. But you might recognize me as the voice of Prince Soma in Black Butler.
Mm,
Yeah, so that's been a privilege, and it's nice to finally be able to say, "Hey, look, I voiced that cool guy y'all remember from back in the day." But yeah,
hell yeah. Well, thank you
yeah,
so much for coming on. It's been a, thank you for taking time out of your day to come here. I imagine
no
you're really
worries.
busy, so, appreciate it.
No worries, man.
Hell yeah. But my first question for you is, how'd you get into voice acting and what's your journey been like so far?
I got into voice acting, I want to say 2021, I think. I want to say
Mm,
2021, maybe 2020, but I'm pretty sure around 2021. And I got around there because I was on my final year of college and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And so I kind of, around that time, I started experimenting with a bunch of stuff, like, seeing what other possible fields I can explore. And eventually I stumbled into voice acting because, I play a lot of video games and I was like, man, voice acting, sounds like something that would be really cool to do. But I didn't have any acting experience or acting background or anything like that. So I ended up taking a bunch of classes around that time and I kept like trying to, my goal was to make a demo. I only made it like, what I want to say last year was
mm.
really the first time I made a demo, like a full demo. Um, but yeah, like that was basically one of the reasons I just wanted to see what other career path I could choose. And one of the reasons I decided to go through with voice acting was because I live here in Dallas, Texas. And at the time, I had no idea that Dallas was kind of like the place where a lot of anime dubbing happens. So I like when I found that out, I was like, oh wow, I could do that because it's like right there. Like, it's like 15 minutes away from where I already live. So I
Oh,
could just,
nice.
yeah, learn to do some voice acting, maybe get a couple gigs with Crunchyroll and whatnot, and now it's been happening, so it's nice.
Hell yeah. What else do
Yeah,
you do apart from voice acting? Do you also have a day job as well?
yeah. I do have a day job. I work at a call center, but it's again, it's very boring and like I don't even enjoy it all that much. I just
That's
do it
fair.
because it pays well. And like the annoying thing about voice acting is that it doesn't really pay all that well, especially if you live in, like Texas, where, you don't get paid too much for doing anime work.
Mm.
And so that's kind of, it's hard to make a living off of it. Most voice actors I know who do work with Crunchy don't make it just off of Crunchy.
Oh yeah.
They have like a day job as well. And that's usually what pays them. And that's how they make a living. And Crunchyroll is just for fun. That's like a hobby pretty
Yeah.
much that you get paid for. But yeah, it's a tough way to make money from anime, and I don't think it's a reliable way. And I hear like people saying, "Oh, I just want to go into voice acting and make money off of that, make that my career." And that was what I was like when I started off. I was like, "Man, I
Me
just
too.
want to quit my job and just do voice acting the entire time." But it's like it's not realistic. It's not realistic. It's very difficult to do something like that unless you have like a really massive portfolio and you live in somewhere like in LA where you can make some the big bucks. But yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Someone's calling me right now. I don't know why.
that's fine.
It's all good. I'll just stop there. There we go. Sorry, my bad. I thought my phone was off. No, it's all
That's
right.
fine. Yeah.
Um, but but yeah, have you ever I'm just out of curiosity, have you actually whatchamacallit, have you responded to any calls in character by any chance? Just for fun?
No, I haven't. Again, I would love to. I just if I even remember to do that, I would love to do it. I just don't. I just call with my boring self. I'm like, hey, what's good? But yeah, I would. If I could like do some prank calling stuff with Soma and like because again, Soma is my most popular character. I would
Yeah.
love to do that. Yeah,
Yeah, actually, speaking of Soma, like I remember you announcing it. I was like, "Yo, let's go! Finally, some
yeah,
actual brown representation in anime."
yeah,
And the funny thing is,
yeah.
Soma's actually lighter than he used to be. So that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, that is an interesting choice because he was a lot darker and like back in the day. And it was weird when I saw like the new anime. I'm like, wow, they really made him light skinner for some reason. But oh well. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, from like recording to when you got to announce it, like How's it been actually?
Uh, again, it was that was a very interesting time because when I auditioned, I got the audition sides for Black Butler. Shortly, like I got it, and I forget when exactly I got it, but I got the audition sides for Black Butler, and one of the characters on there was Soma. And I was like, I got this in the bag, dog. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do,
Yeah,
and they're gonna book me instantly. And I auditioned for it. I put so much effort into it to that particular audition. I put like days just trying to get
nice.
that character perfect. And I did it and I sent it over and I didn't get it. Like they said, I think they gave a specific date of when they would start recording. And I was
Mm,
like, all right, by that date, they will tell me if I booked the character. That date comes and goes. They didn't tell me I booked the character. And I
yeah.
was like, God damn it. I guess I didn't get the role. And shortly after I'd given up hope, I suddenly got an email. Caitlin Glass would like to offer you the role of Soma in Black Butler.
Mm,
And dude, I popped off so
hell
hard, dude.
yeah.
I yelled. But yeah, that was my journey from like getting like auditioning to getting the character. Inside the booth, it was interesting because again, and Soma was my first named character in anime, so it was interesting to kind of get accustomed to that experience because I'd done a bunch of Walla work, additional
Mm,
voices and whatnot with Crunchy. But that was the first time I would have to voice a full character. It's interesting because not only do I have to play this very interesting character, but also I have to put on the accent and try to
mm,
do it in this accent that I really haven't used in any professional setting up until Soma.
mm,
And so that was kind of an interesting challenge to get used to, was trying to figure out how I can do ADR with this accent and keep my head straight the entire time. But yeah,
mm.
that was the entire challenge. But I got to give it to Caitlin Glass, who was the VO
Yeah.
director for that show. She understood where I was in my VO journey, and she was very accommodating and very
Oh, that's good.
understanding. Yeah, yeah,
Hell yeah.
and she helped me through the entire process. So it felt very. I wasn't as intimidated. Like by the time I got to the very end, I was like, I was very confident in my performance. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
fair enough. I've only been recently like rediscovering more like specificities with the Indian accent because
yeah.
it's weird because like I when I was younger I used to have a thick Indian accent. Then it
Me too.
became
Me too.
yeah, then it became New
Yeah,
Zealand, and then it became like a mix of New Zealand and American now. But
yeah,
yeah, but with Indians, like it's like I can tap into it, but it's like it just doesn't feel uh you know the most normal because like it's been so
yeah.
long, but it's getting more
Hmm.
I feel more comfortable in it. So it's
Yeah.
pretty good. It's a process. Especially, you
Yeah.
can probably relate to that a lot.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. I mean, for again, yeah, I too, because I lived in India when I was a kid, and so
mm,
I kind of picked up the Indian accent from all my friends around at that time. And so the dialect you hear in Black Butler is the one I used to have when I was a
mm,
kid. It's like that city Indian accent.
yeah.
And yeah, and I feel it fits very well for Soma because he is like he is royalty, and he is kind of up there in society, and kind of I wanted to kind of give that city feel to him in particular, and it worked. I think it worked really well.
Hell yeah, you did a really good job. I
Yeah,
actually watched a couple episodes. You did really well.
yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
No worries,
Yeah.
dude. Whereabouts in India did you grow up in? If you don't mind me asking.
I grew up in this city called Pune in the state of Maharashtra. I wasn't
Oh,
born
okay.
there. I wasn't born. I was actually born here, but like my family moved when I was very young. I was like 1 or 2. We
Oh,
moved
okay.
to the UAE, to Abu Dhabi first, and then like around the time I was 3 4, we moved to India, and that's kind of where a lot of my formative years were.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a lot of nostalgia for the place. And I have my cousin. She's getting wed,
Hey,
and the wedding is taking place in Pune, and it's going to be a wild time because it's been a long ass time since I was back there, and I have a lot of
hell yeah.
nostalgia for that place. So yeah,
Hey,
it's going to be
funny,
fun.
funny, funny enough, my cousin's also getting married this year, but it's in November.
Uh,
So I'll also be going back to India. I don't think I'll be going to
yeah, yeah.
Maharaj though. I haven't been there. I don't
Oh,
think I've been to Maharaj actually.
yeah.
Because most of my family is from Chennai, um,
Chennai, right?
Chennai, Kerala, and a little bit of Mumbai, but mainly Chennai
Hmm.
and Kerala, like around that area. Um,
Right, right.
but yeah, it'd be nice to visit Maharaj at some point. There's like
Yeah.
so much of India I haven't seen yet. Like the Taj
Oh,
Mahal
me
area, I
neither.
have not seen. I haven't been to New Delhi yet,
Oh,
so it's like so
oh
much.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did see the Taj Mahal when I was a kid. The one time, it was a cool experience. I forgot a lot about my experience at that time, but I remember having a lot of fun checking out the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't seen a lot of India myself. I've just yeah, most for me Pune and Pune is kind of the place I know best. But I have been to some like South Indian places like Kerala and like Tamil Nadu,
Mm.
like Chennai. Yeah, I have been there, and it's because when I say I'm Indian, but the truth is I'm like that's a lie. I'm like half Indian. The other half I'm Sri Lankan,
Oh
and
yeah.
in Sri Lanka they speak Tamil, and so like my dad's side of the family. I would always hear Tamil, and they would always go to Chennai if they ever went to India because that's where they speak Tamil as well. So
Yeah.
I was kind of exposed to South India via that Sri Lankan heritage of mine. But for the most part, I say Indian because I was raised in Pune, which is more Hindi speaking.
Not
Yeah,
fair.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
you did you end up getting pibbles when you were in Chennai? It's like the Indian version of M&Ms and Smarties.
Pibble,
It's just pebbles. It's
pebbles. I don't recall. I don't. I mean, is that like recent or has that been like a
I think
thing
it's
forever?
I think it's always been there.
Oh,
But yeah,
maybe I didn't pay attention.
one of my favorite things to do in India is meet family, of course, but also just watch TV advertisements because
Yeah,
they're just really like out there compared to like New Zealand advertisements.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
there's a lot of Dettol ones, which I'm really surprised by. It's not like a huge
yeah.
thing here, so like that
Yeah,
there's like a whole
yeah.
song and everything. It was like, damn, all right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be because I remember, as a kid, like listening to a bunch of Hindi commercials and stuff, and it'll be weird. It's so funny too because I watched so many shows in Hindi
Mm,
when I was a kid. Like a lot of cartoons and stuff. I would see not all of them, but like many of them where I didn't have a choice to watch in English, I would end up watching it in Hindi. I think there were like some anime dubs in Hindi that I watched
nice.
at the time because that was the only option I had. But yeah, no, that's yeah, for me like that watching stuff in Hindi was kind of the norm for a little while. The funny thing is that the only reason I chose to watch stuff in English whenever I could was because I remember when I was a kid, when I was like, what I want to say, like 4 or 5, I didn't know how to speak English at all.
Mm,
Like I
yeah.
knew bits and pieces of English and whatnot, but I couldn't like string together a sentence properly. And the funny thing is, my mom and my dad, again, because my mom is Indian, my dad was Sri Lankan, and they couldn't speak to each other in their native tongue, so they would speak in English. And so
Mm,
when my dad was away, he was away for like a long like time. He worked overseas, and so when he called one day, he called my mom one day. He was like, "Can you give the phone to Abi?" And she was like, "All right, sure." And I could not communicate with him at all.
oh
And
wow.
that was yeah, because he tried to he could only speak English with me, and the only thing I could speak was well, it was Marathi at the time, not Hindi, but I could only speak Marathi and like broken English. And I remember that when the call ended, my mom was like, "You need to start learning English because you need to learn to talk to your dad." I was like, "Okay." And so since that
It would
day,
help
I
a lot
started
actually.
watching. Yeah, so I started watching stuff in English wherever I could find it. And I feel like that was maybe partly one of the reasons I was so fascinated with like a lot of anime and stuff like that when I would start watching that stuff in English because I had to, learn their mannerisms and whatnot via the shows I watched. And that's how I kind of learned how to speak English like fluently.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, you mentioned you grew up in anime and stuff. But since and now that you're in like the Dallas area, which is like considered a hub for anime, are there
hmm
like any anime shows particularly that you would like to be a part of at some point?
Oh man, there's like so many. I would love to be part of Naruto. I know it's Boruto now, but like whatever. It's like an extension of Naruto. Only because I was such a diehard Naruto fan growing up.
Mm,
I love Naruto so much. And like I remember when I wanted to start like a YouTube channel as a kid, and it would be like a Naruto centric channel. Like it'll all be about Naruto. There's like one of the first videos I uploaded on YouTube way back in the day. This must have been like 2011, 2012. It was
Mm.
how to illegally download this Naruto game on the PSP. This fun Naruto game on the
Which
PSP.
game was it?
It was like, I think it was like Naruto Ultimate Ninja Impact. It was like that hack and slash Naruto game on the PSP. And I was I was like, this is how you illegally download it and stuff. And I mean, that was again, you could hear my Indian accent in there too. It was an interesting time. I
Damn,
deleted it
you're not
like,
beating the allegations. God damn. It's like because I
yeah,
swear to God, with every fucking hack video, it's always a guy with an Indian accent. I'm like, come on,
Indian
man.
accent. Yeah, yeah. It was yeah. I took it. I honestly wish I'd had the files. I don't because there was a few other videos I had with that Indian accent that I uploaded on YouTube that I don't have anymore, sadly. But yeah, that was Naruto. So going back to your question, Naruto and Boruto by extension is one series I really would love to, especially in the Storm games, the Naruto Storm games. I would
Yeah,
love to be in the
surely.
Naruto Storm games. I would love to. And speaking of games, I would love to be in a Budokai Tenkaichi, Dragon Ball Z Budokai
Oh,
Tenkaichi
absolutely.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they call it Sparking Zero, but back in the day we called it Budokai Tenkaichi.
It's
I
weird
would love to be in one.
because sparking is like is what's called in Japan. It's not called
Yeah,
Budokai in
yeah,
Japan. So I guess it's always
yeah.
been sparking, but I guess it's
Yeah, but it is like in Japan it was called Spartan, but in my head I was like, bro, I wish they just called it Budokai Tenkaichi 4 because I'm so nostalgia pilled. I want to like see Budokai Tenkaichi on the
yeah.
title.
That's
But
fair
yeah, I
though.
would love to be in like a Dragon Ball. I would love to be in Dragon Ball. Period. Like
Yeah.
as any character, I would love to be in Dragon Ball. There's so many anime I want to be in. Like it's hard to really put my finger. I could probably name more games I want to be in than like
Oh,
anime.
please name the games too, bro.
Okay, I would love to be in Final Fantasy. I would love
Mm,
to be in Persona. I would love to be in Mario even. I would
hell
love
yeah.
to be in Sonic. Oh, dude, I would love to be in Sonic. I would love to be in so many games. It's like, yeah, it's again for me, gaming and anime was kind of my means of getting into voice acting, and I think, once became like like a true gamer, like epic gamer,
Nice.
like that's when I started wanting to do voice acting like for real, because it's like I loved watching people do voice acting in games, and especially in fighting games. That's another thing I want to do. I want to do
Yes.
voiceover in a fighting game because once the cool thing about fighting is if you voice in a fighting game, you're basically immortalized because
Exactly.
all of us remember Falcon Punch, because
Mm,
like it's one voice line, but everyone like who's played Smash is like that's so iconic. And so if like any time you voice a fighting game character, those lines are so instilled into the player, and I want that. That's so cool.
hell yeah.
Yeah,
I
I would love
would
to be in Street Fighter
oh
and
man,
Tekken and
I
stuff.
would love to be in a fighting game. That's like the dream role for me personally.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
Street Fighter, Tekken, I don't know, but it's Fatal Fury, Mortal Kombat, like
Fatal
anything, Blaze
Fury. Yeah,
Blue, like
yeah.
literally
Guilty
anything.
Gear. Yeah,
Guilty
yeah.
Gear, yeah.
Anything. Yeah,
But yeah, but who knows, right? Because
yeah.
I mean, soon Dulcim will have an Indian voice actor at some point, right? It's only a
Yeah,
matter of
yeah.
time.
It still baffles me they haven't gotten like an Indian guy to voice Dalsim. It's
It's weird,
oh well.
I'm sure they will at some point. We just
Yeah,
have to get
maybe.
very old,
Yeah,
first, and then maybe we'll get a chance. But we'll
yeah.
see.
We have to yell like, "Look, we exist, guys! Look at us!"
Yeah, there's not a lot
Yeah,
of us, which is really interesting. So
yeah,
like,
yeah.
because because you joined around 2021, I
Hmm.
started in 2018, so it's like just 3 years before.
Right, right.
When I joined in 2018, I there wasn't a lot of us around either. I could probably
Yeah,
name like maybe like one, two people. I think there's
right.
I think there's more nowadays, but when you joined
Mm.
2021, what was it like for you actually?
It was interesting because yeah, as you say, I didn't really know any notable Indian or South Asian even voice actors in the space, and so I felt like it was I had to kind of figure out if there was place for people like us, or if there
Yeah.
was place for brownie like myself, and that was kind of one thing that gave me pause. But at the same time, one of my mentors, one of my coaches, she was like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. There's actually space for like underrepresented communities, because a lot of directors are trying to be very authentic, and they're trying to cast authentically, which is nice. I like the fact that they do that. And so there is like a pretty big hole within the South Asian representation space, and so there's a good chance of you like getting more roles based on South Asian characters whenever they pop up, because they really want to authentically represent those characters.
Yeah.
And yeah, and going back to like Soma, um, but Prince Soma, they were from what I heard, Crunchyroll really wanted to recast Soma, like regardless. Obviously there was the fact that Soma's previous voice actor Chris Aris sadly passed away.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously there was a speculation that they had to replace him, but from what I hear, that even if he was around, like they would have they would have recast Soma because they wanted to be authentic. And from what I
Yeah.
hear from people who were close to Chris, or people who knew him very well, they told me that Chris was he was planning on not taking the role. If he was ever offered the role again, he would not take it, because he wanted an actual Indian person to
That's good.
authentically represent the role. Yeah. So yeah, there is because there is a vacuum, that there is like not much South Asian talent. Right now, I feel it is a good time to jump into voice acting, to show that we exist, and that our roles should be given to people like us. That we are there to take those roles, and we are there to voice them. And there's a lot of I'm sure there's a lot of South Asians out there who want to do VO, but just are deterred because of it hasn't historically felt like something that our people do.
Yeah,
you
I was
know
gonna say like it's like doing like the arts in like Western media compared to like, I don't know, like Bollywood or something. It's
yeah,
very different. It's like it's not really looked down upon, but it's kind of like, they'll always look a bit higher for like, the higher
yeah,
paying jobs, like being a lawyer, a doctor, a dentist
yeah,
or
yeah,
something. you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
So like
yeah.
I gotta ask, when did you ask when you because when I asked my parents that I wanted to do voiceover, they were like super against it, man. Like, oh my god, dude, they were really against it. So I kind of just did it in secret for a couple of years. Then I think 5 years later, they kind of found out, and
hmm
I was like, you know what, we'll support you. You're doing good. So like, it took a while, but we got there. But yeah, what was like for like your family? Were they like into it, or was it like a bit of an
um
uphill battle for a bit?
it was hard to convince, yeah, because again, it's the thing is, like I was trying to convince my mom of like what voice acting is, and she like didn't quite fully understand the optics of
Yeah,
VO. So she was like, all right, that's fine, but get a regular job, and then you can do all this VO nonsense in your own time, but get a regular job. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. But and like I don't even think right now she fully grasps or like understands VO all that much. So I just kind of keep that stuff to myself. Like I do VO stuff, and I really rarely ever tell anyone in my personal family or anything that I do VO. And like if it comes in passing, I'll be like, yeah, I do VO and stuff like that, but I don't elaborate on it. I just say like, yeah, I do VO sometimes. Yeah.
it's really weird because with my parents, they're definitely a lot more like open and proud about it, which I'm really happy about. But
Nice.
in a bad way, not really a bad way, but it's kind of cringe. It's like my family just assumes I'm famous, which I'm far from. Like, no, I'm not. I'm not fucking famous. Well, I just do things. I promise. Um, but yeah, it's nice. But yeah, it's having like it's hard to convince because like it's not something they're used to, right? Like it wasn't like
Yeah.
a viable option back then, and we're
Yeah.
still trying to get more be more known, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
like
mean,
it's
yeah,
yeah,
they are like, I mean, coming from like they are all like coming from the immigrant perspective,
yeah,
and I feel they value those specific kind of jobs, like the lawyers, the doctors, the what have you. I feel like honestly, if like I stayed in India, I would have had a better chance of convincing my parents. Like, yeah, I want to do voice acting, but over here, I think like it's harder because they I feel there's like a pressure. They feel like they need to make money to survive.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
it
my
is
theory.
it is America, to be fair. So like, I
Yeah,
imagine a lot of things are expensive over there.
yeah,
But hoping it gets
yeah.
better. Like, I mean, everything's just
hmm
expensive in general, but
Yeah,
it's it's rough out here. So do what you can, man, to survive, and
Yeah, yeah,
everything will kind of
yeah,
fall into place.
yeah.
But yeah, when you took over the role of Soma, because like the previous voice actor was Chris Ayres, rest in peace. Like
Yes.
taking on that role, like with such a big legacy, because Chris Ayres is an amazing
Yeah,
voice actor, amazing
legendary
person.
voice actor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
Frieza and a lot of other stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so like taking on that role, with that huge legacy behind him, like established already. Did you feel like there was like a kind of almost pressure when you first booked?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the 100%. There was definitely pressure. I said the same thing with like I was invited to another like commentary watch along for that particular episode where where Soma shows up, and I said the same thing over there. I was like, yeah, I was very. It felt very. I was pressured when I got into the booth. About Chris, and one of the first things that Caitlin told me when I got in, she was like, "Look, if Chris was still alive, he would be proud of you and he would be accept you wholeheartedly for this role." And
Yeah,
that gave me a lot of confidence, or it eased me a lot because I was very scared of how people would react online to the recasting. People have this very particular image of Soma and what his voice sounds like, and what kind of performance Chris Ayres delivered for him. And so I was yeah, that was a part I was very nervous about because I can't do his exact version. I can do my version, and I can try to like take aspects of his performance and incorporate it into my performance, but I can't be him, and it'll be very instantly recognizable when you hear it that it's a different guy. And I know there's a lot of people who are scared of change of any capacity. So that was the part that scared me. So it was nice hearing from Caitlin that Chris would have been fine with it because, and like
yeah,
later on hearing that he was going to not take the role anyway because he just wanted it to be authentically represented.
yeah.
That gave me it felt nice to have that confirmation. And if so, anytime now I see, because I did see a couple of comments around that time when that episode aired where my performance was on, and I saw like some comments, not too many. Like there was I have to say that there was an outpouring of positivity
Hell
when
yeah.
I made that announcement, and a lot of people were totally on board. Like, yeah, hell yeah, this is so perfect, this is great, and that made me feel great. And even though there are there are some like detractors here and there, I did see like some comments being like, "This new guy sucks. This is
Oh,
a terrible voice." But I'm
damn.
like, all right, it's fine. Like I know there's a lot more positivity that have people have been showing me, and so I'll just stick to that. And I can't pretend to be Chris, or I can't pretend to do his exact performance. I can just do the best I can.
Yeah.
And if the director is pleased, then I've done my job. Yeah. So
I don't honestly like Caitlyn, and like and most of the positive comments, pretty much all the positive comments are right, because like I feel like Chris would be
yeah.
very proud of you if he was still, with us. Because
Yeah. Thank you.
you did a really good job, man. Like, so
Oh, thanks, man.
don't feel like you have to be Chris, because I don't think anyone could be Chris. So except
Yeah,
for except
yeah,
except for
he's
Chris.
yeah,
But
except for Chris. Yeah,
yeah,
he was legendary. I wish I could have met him, but
yeah.
sadly
He was a
taken
very
over.
nice guy. I wish I would have been able
Yeah,
to meet him. Same with Billy
yeah,
Commits.
yeah.
When he passed away, I
Oh
was really
yeah,
gutted, man. I would have loved to meet him.
absolutely. Yeah, he seemed like such a chill dude, and
Yeah,
I would have loved to meet him in person. It's tragic. It sucks.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also wanted to ask, since you're actually my first quote unquote brownie I've had on
Hell yeah.
the interview podcast. I've never heard anyone call us brownies before, so that's a new one for
I mean,
me.
I just made that up, but yeah. Now from now on, we're the brownies, the brown boys, the
Hell yeah,
brown
I like
fellas.
that.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
Hell yeah. I've got to ask, favorite Indian dish or Sri Lankan dish actually.
Oh, favorite. I mean, yeah, Indian is probably what I would lean to because that's what I ate for most of my life. Favorite Indian dish. I don't I I don't want to say butter chicken because that's so cliche and so
But it's
obvious.
good, right?
It's great. I love butter chicken. But it's I want to say biryani.
Ooh,
Is
biryani.
Yeah, I like biryani a lot. I mean, because I associate it with like celebratory stuff, like usually
Yeah.
for in my family. anytime there's like a big celebration, my aunt she would make like this massive pot of biryani, and it would be
Nice.
usually we'd commemorate an occasion. That's usually how we would have biryani. And so I've kind of, not only does it taste good, but it's like there is that correlation of it's a special moment. Like we
Yeah.
have this when it's like a really special time. Yeah, I like biryani a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, biryani and butter chicken. Those are my
Yeah.
two
Butter
picks I
chicken's a
love a lot.
butter chicken's a classic. Biryani's good.
Oh yeah.
I don't eat biryani a lot. But
Hmm.
I have it like in like short. I usually have it on like occasions, like festivals, because then my
Right.
grandma or something will make it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
usually like my go-to is mata paneer, palak paneer. I love me my
Oh,
paneer,
palak
man.
paneer is good. Oh
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just
palak paneer is great.
yeah, it's just like it made me love spinach, like, that
Yeah.
just like it sounds like an impossible feat, right? But like they
Yeah.
did it somehow. Butter
Yeah,
chicken's good
yeah.
as well. I also like mango chicken.
Mm.
Lamb rogan josh is really good.
Yeah, Rogan Josh is great.
What else?
There's
I love me some garlic naan. I love garlic naan to
garlic
pieces.
naan.
Like regular
Yeah.
naan is fine, but I feel like it's too bready sometimes. I need like that extra little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
There's
if you want to go like the snacks route, um, pani puri, that shit bangs.
pani puri. That is a slapper, dude. I love pani puri. It's so good. It sucks too because when I was a kid and I would ask my mom, "Hey, can we get pani puri?" And she's like, "No, we don't buy anything from street vendors. You probably get food
Hmm.
poisoning." I'm like, "Ugh." It's like, but every time I'd like go and see the street vendor do their thing, I'm like, bro, I really wish I could get a pani puri right now. That's so cool.
No,
Yeah,
it's so true. I mean,
yeah,
I've had the street pani puri. It's fine. You're not gonna get food poisoning. It's like it's a rare occasion, but I mean it's possible, right?
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
it's not
yeah.
guaranteed you'll get food
It's
poisoning.
yeah, no, it's no, I like lassi too. Lassi is something
Mm.
like. Yeah, I haven't had lassi in so long, but I want, because again there was going back to when I was a kid in India, there was a lassi shop near my school that I went to, and so after school, my mom would drive my brother and I to the lassi shop, and we'd get lassi after school, and it was amazing, and so I'm so excited to go back to Pune because I'll
Yes.
be able to have that lassi again.
I've only
Yeah,
ever had
I'm
mango
so
lassi.
excited.
I've never had like the other kinds.
Yeah, I mean, like I've had mango lassi, but there's like the one I had was like it's just like a regular lassi. It wasn't. Maybe I just missed the actual flavor name, but I just thought it was like regular, like original lassi, and then
Mm.
every other is just like a iteration. But yeah, it was awesome. It banged.
Yeah, I also huge fan of the crab over there, like crab curries and stuff. They do a
Oh
really good
yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah.
The only thing I don't like about Indian food in India is they give me like the portion sizes are too big. Like Jesus Christ. Like even if you get a small, it's ungodly big. Like come on, man, you
Yeah.
got a billion people to feed, bro. I just give me smaller portions. I swear to God, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think the weirdest Indian food I had was this was like a couple years ago, so like I would say like 2 years ago. I went to India
Mm.
to see my grandma, uh, and she was like, "Hey, you want to have some goat brain curry?" I'm like, "Sure, let's try it." It's actually not that bad. I actually quite enjoyed it.
It's yeah.
It's like tofu, like a little texture.
There was, yeah, I did have there was this dish called Peja fry, which is, I don't know what animal it is. Maybe it's cow, or that's what I speculated, but it's basically like cow brain that I
Oh yeah,
that I would eat, and that was like one thing. Again, I rarely had it, but it tasted great. I was like, bro, I wish I could have more cow brain. This bangs.
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's not
it
a.
was.
I think if you were to say that like literally anywhere else, you would be looked at as like a psychopath or something.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah,
brain's
yeah.
good. It's good, man.
Yeah,
Like,
it's great. I mean, it sounds like sacrilegious because I was in India at the time, and they seem to love cows over there. But again, as someone who's been to India, I can tell you that there is a lot. I think most people are like non-vegetarian, like they aren't
yeah.
constantly worshiping the cow. Like I see that particular image here in the West. It's like that's not true. Like a lot of Indian people eat meat
Yeah.
like all the time. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, some people choose not to eat cow, and some people it is still worshipped, but like I think the
yeah,
majority, like if you consider like there's a billion of us, I think the majority do eat meat. So like,
yeah.
I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I also this might be really weird, but I also miss like the stray animals on the road. I miss them a lot.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, like, I would maybe if I'm driving, I would probably be mad about it. But back then I was a kid, so I didn't drive, so I would be like,
Oh,
oh, whoa,
I
look at
am
this.
absolutely not fucking driving in India. Oh my god, have
Yeah,
you seen that shit, dude? I
dude.
will
Oh,
actually
dude.
die. I will
It
actually die.
is.
Yeah,
It's that's the one thing I don't look forward to in India, because like the people over there drive like crazy. Like it's even my mom, she the way she drives here versus how she drives over there is like, over here she's like normal, she's like driving following the rules. Over there it's like make the rules, like
yeah.
just drive,
There's
go
no
into the
rules.
sidewalk. Yeah, just drive however you want. And it's like, god damn. And it's scary being a passenger in one of those cars. I'm like, god damn, bro, please let it end. So,
Fair
yeah,
enough. Honestly, it's the
yeah.
opposite for me. I love being a passenger because it's like a roller coaster. But if I was to drive, we're not gonna live to the end of the
Dude.
journey.
Dude.
So, Abi, I have one last question for you, my dude, and that
Mhm.
is, what keeps you going, man?
Drugs. No.
You're the first
Uh.
person to respond to that question with that.
No. What keeps me going? Honestly, I can't really even figure out a proper answer, because to me, what keeps me going is the pursuit of wanting to voice like a really good character. That's like the kind of, like, I do auditions for everything in the hopes that one day this will lead me to some guy in the future that I get to voice that is like super cool, that I like everyone and their mom is like, dude, look at that. That's the guy. That's the cool guy. But yeah, that's to me, I already enjoy voice acting as is, like, even though there's like no money in it, at least at the stage I'm in, and like doing the kind of stuff I do, there's like no real money to be made, you know. And so I just do this as to fulfill my own soul. It's to kind of feed that creative side of me, and to me, that's kind of helped me keep going, and to be like, look, I'm going to do this fun thing so I can do this other fun thing so I can do this other fun thing. Yeah, to me, that's really what keeps me going. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
like with a big role as Soma, I imagine, more stuff coming through will likely lead to more things. So, keep
Yeah,
going, man.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, thanks. I will do that,
Hell
and I
yeah.
hope to see other. I hope to see other, South Asian
Mm,
voice actors in the space, because I love to, celebrate my people, celebrate, in the space that barely has many of us in it. It's nice to see, like, much
hell
like
yeah.
yourself, and
I
a few
appreciate you.
others I've seen on Twitter, to see some fellow voice actors fellow South Asian voice actors be able to jump into the space and feel comfortable in the
Yeah.
space. That's nice. Again, it does. There is that challenge of possibly getting typecast, and that's kind of one thing I fear. When you jump in there, like, you might just get typecast as the Indian guy for everything.
Yeah.
But hopefully, like, one day, I think if there's enough people in there, enough South Asians, enough Indians doing like VO stuff, I think there's a much less chance of that happening, because they'll know that, yeah, look, we are more than just the Indian guy. We're
Exactly.
voice actors. We're people who want to be voice actors and want to voice the characters that everyone else is voicing. Yeah. So I encourage as many people, not just within the South Asian community, but also like any minority communities out there who you feel underrepresented. Just jump in, like, try to put yourself out there, and hopefully you'll be able to encourage other people from your community, or even other
Yeah.
minority communities, to be able to do this incredible thing.
Yeah, just gotta just pull off the Herculean task of defying your appearance. So
Yeah. Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. If you
honestly,
can do
yeah.
that, yeah.
But for real though, honestly, it's if you're really passionate about it, just do it. Things will fall into
Mm,
place in time. It's a marathon for real. Like I've been doing this for
yeah.
7 years, so like
Yeah.
you know things are only now starting to get good, but things can always be better. But like we're
Mm.
just getting started, baby. So like
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
gotta keep going.
Yeah, I
So
mean, yeah, it can be a painful grind, but once when you get when you get those W's, man, that shit, that hits hard. That's
yes,
like
sir.
that, if it suddenly, like, you feel like it was all worth it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, jump in, do VO stuff, everyone.
Hell yeah. And with that
Yeah.
note, this interview comes to a close. Avi, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate you so much, dude.
Thank you for having me. Yeah,
No
this
worries,
was great.
man.
This was a lot of fun. Yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah. I'm glad you had fun, bro. That's the one thing I
Yeah.
wanted from this.
Yeah.
But hell yeah. Where can people find you on social media and stuff, Avi?
You can find me on Twitter, or, well, I say the app formerly known as Twitter. You can find me there at the Kumar Abi. And you can also visit my website if you're interested in me, at kumarabi.com. And
Nice.
hopefully, I'm thinking of I've been literally flirting with the idea of streaming recently. So if
Hmm.
that happens, I'll definitely post that up on my Twitter and say, hey, look, follow me on so and so twitch.tv or whatever.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
What games are you gonna play on there? Or just gonna chat to the chat, I guess.
I was thinking, I was literally thinking that, like, if I get Wheel of Fortune for the Nintendo Wii, that'll be the first one I play.
Oh, dude, can we play? I would love to play Wheel of Fortune. That'd be
Wheel
sick.
of Fortune. Yeah, I was like, I flirted with what game to be, but to play, but I was like, dude, there's so many games. I'll just play Wheel of Fortune. Who cares?
That's fair. I was thinking about streaming, but like, what would I do? I was thinking Family Feud. I feel like that'd be fun.
Family Feud would be fun. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm planning.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you again for coming on, and I look forward to the Twitch streams, bro, and a very promising voiceover career ahead, bro.
Thank you, thank you. You too, man. You too.
Thank you,
It's nice
dude.
to see a fellow brownie.
Yes, sir. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, thank you again for coming on. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you for the next interview. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.